Alrighty, today we're going to look at finding the area of a triangle. Now, you already found out how to find the area of a rectangle. For example, this one has a base or a length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has a height of 1, 2, 3. So this whole rectangle would be an area of 15 units square. But in this case, I only want to find out this triangle. Now, here's a really interesting way to think about it. If I were to go ahead and cut out this triangle, all right, if I want to cut out this exact part of the triangle, and now let's look at what I have left over. Now I have two other pieces of what used to be my whole rectangle. Now if I look at it, I have two identical triangles. They're both exactly the same. Even if I put these two right over it, it's the exact same triangle. So if you notice, if I take my rectangle that we started with, and if I cut off these two pieces, notice it's the exact same area of this original triangle. So now we need to stop and think, well, I don't want to find the area of the whole rectangle, right? I only want to find the area of that one triangle. That's how we get to our formula. The formula for the area of a triangle is area is equal to 1/2 base times height. Because I know base times height gets me normally just my rectangle. But if I want just the triangle, I'm only going to take half of the base times height. Now, in a triangle, I can label certain parts. For example, this would be my base. And my height is to go from one corner all the way to the base. So if I look at this top part and going straight down to the base, this would be considered my height. Okay, so my height here would be 1, 2, 3 units, and my base would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So to solve this, all we would do is plug in my base and my height. My base here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My height is 1, 2, 3. Now you solve it like an order of operations problem. So you can solve it a couple different ways. You can go any order because remember multiplication is commutative. So I could do 5 times 3 and then take half of it, or I do 1/2 times 5 and then multiply that by 3. Either way, it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and do 5 times 3, and now I'll get 15. And then I notice I need to take half of that. So one way to take half of it is to just take 15 and divide it by 2. And when I work that out, 2 is in the 10 5 times and it terminates. So I get that my area is 7.5 units, because I don't know what unit it is, units squared. We call it square units or units squared because area is two-dimensional. It's not a one-dimensional thing. Now, if you think about it, if I took this entire rectangle, we talked about in the beginning how the whole area is 15. So all I did was take this 15 and divide it by 2 because I only want half of that rectangle. Let's practice 3 more questions. So let's look at the first example here. It says, if you look at this triangle, it looks kind of a little bit different, right? I have the height on the outside, but that's totally fine. The height on the outside is just there because there's no straight line to go from one corner to the base. So this right here, if you ever see a triangle, this is considered my height. So if I go with my new formula that I found out, area is 1/2 base times height. All I'm doing is plugging in numbers that they give me. So for example, they gave me the height, so let's go ahead and replace, well, I have the base also, my base from here to here is 15. We don't include this dotted part here. This is just telling me that it's perpendicular, right? That it makes a right angle. So that means this line goes straight from the top to the base. So the base I have is 15. My height is 10. Now, there's a couple different ways we could do this. I could take 1/2 of 10 and then multiply that by 15, or I can just do 1/2 times 15 times 10. It doesn't matter. Remember, multiplication is commutative. right? So I can take 1/2 of any one of these two and then work it out. Really is up to you. So I know 1/2 of 10 would get me 5. So half of 10 is 5. So I would do 15 times 5. Once I do 15 times 5, I'd be able to get my answer. And I get 75. So it's 75 centimeters squared. That would be my final answer. Even if you did half of 15, okay, half of 15 is 7.5 multiplied by 10, you would still get 75 centimeters squared. So it's really up to you the order that you want to complete it.